This is a compliment. And I really, really, really want Maddie to take it as a compliment because I love it. She had killer in her eyes every time she stepped on that stage.
Podcast. We're passionate about good music and a great vocal. We'll use the vehicle of NBC's The Voice to give you our take and our feedback on each contestant. What we're never here to do is come for any contestant as a human being, although there are times where they come off a little pitchy and we in return are a little pitchy back. We'll always do our best to speak our truths with love, kindness, and respect. And with that, we are at what, Stephanie? Is this our final season 24? Season 25, excuse me.
This is our last of the best ofs. So this may be closing out season 25. I got to talk to you about some upcoming episode ideas. So this may or may not close out. This will at least close out our best ofs of each round of season 25 of NBC's The Voice.
Stephanie, I feel like I haven't seen you. I mean, we've talked. I feel like I have not seen you in forever and a day. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that we are back, and I'm glad that because we knew schedules were about to get insane, so I'm glad we recorded on the front end. So we took I guess an accommodation for things like sickness and shows and kids and VBS and a million and one things.
All the fun summer things and not so fun. Sick is not fun.
But we made it. We made it finally. So without further ado, because we got a lot to discuss today. So everyone, what we're going to do is there were multiple rounds of the live. So Stephanie and I we came to the united consensus that we would just pick a top 10 of all the lives. Yeah. Top 10 performances, no rules other than the fact that we have no honorable mentions.
That's right.
And so this is what it is. I'm ready. If you are.
I'm ready.
I'm going to come in strong, Stephanie, with my number 10.
Okay.
My number 10, just to show you how strong I'm going to come in and how my list is just going to grow from here, is Miss Maddie Jane, Happier Than Ever, Billie Eilish.
All right.
I said, this had a fantastic A section because if you know this song, there's a definitive A. It's like two songs mashed into one. There's a definitive A section, B section, which we talked about on the podcast. I said, but what I really wanted to highlight was the A section was fantastic. I said, but the B section was otherworldly for me with Maddie. I said, this performance showed Maddie's crazy performance range, not vocal range. Everyone knows that Maddie had crazy vocal, but it showed her performance range because a lot of Maddie's previous performances were up tempo, where you could bop to it, dance numbers, things of that nature. And she did do some, with the Rihanna and stuff like that. She started off this song obviously starts off as a ballad.
It was Stay.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Stay. This song starts off as a ballad and then it jumps to just an up-tempo rage song. And I said, this was I can do anything you give me and make it my own performance of Maddie Jane. Mm-hmm. This is why Maddie was top 3 for me for the entire season. Mm-hmm. Boom. Stephanie, what say you?
I say excellent number 10. I will say that particular song did not make my list. But it was definitely under consideration. And I love that performance because it did show Maddie's range of a lot of things all in one song.
Correct.
So excellent pick. My number 10 was Madison Curbelo, Yesterday by the Beatles. Part of this was a sentimental choice because if you listen to the original podcast, my daughter and son, but mostly my daughter, has learned this particular song. So it was very cool to hear another take on it. It was very cool because Madison was our master of the classics. she would take a classic song and she would make these subtle changes, mostly to the ends of phrases that kind of made it her own, but for the most part respected the original song. And I felt like this was one of the very best of that particular thing that she did. Other than it just being a very sentimental song at the moment for me. I really do feel like this was one of the best, one of her best performances in that styling of what she did on the show. The choices made it fresh. Her vocal choices made it fresh. The instrumentation of this particular song was really cool. It was more of an acoustic-y type thing. It wasn't a lot of instrumentation to it. So it lent well to showcasing her vocal as well. Very respectful of the original. And that's what, especially for these classics, we like to see. Give us a bit of the original melody, but then you can play on the back end of the song or the back end of the phrases. And I think Madison did that really well with this particular song. So that is my number 10. She did. And that was someone who, this particular performance just missed my list. Just missed it. Because of all the reasons why you said. I thought this was by far her greatest performance, her greatest offering of the entire show. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you 100%. Great number 10. Very two strong number 10s that we came with. So let's go. All right, Stephanie. So let me jump to my number 9. Number 9 was a country offering for me. I had to go with Mr. Josh Sanders, White Horse, Chris Stapleton. I said, Josh always brought it. Always brought it. I say, I love how he brought the Stapleton soul to this offering, because he had some oil on them chords, y'all. He had some oil on the chords. Yes. But the thing that I liked about Josh, and the thing that he was most consistent with, I think, through the entire run of this season, was he sang with such freedom. I said, and I love that. He sang with freedom, he sang with grit, and he made it look effortless. Yes. And it was just like he was chewing gum. It was so easy for him. Yeah. And I just loved it. I said that march towards the end of this song was everything. It was the controlled holleration. Yeah. He brought it. The lyric he really brought it on is "Ain't There Yet." When he said that "Ain't There Yet," and he was just hollering. Yes, he was. Y'all, I mean, he went to church on this song, and all the while, because you got to be careful with Chris Stapleton songs, because Chris Stapleton has a 1 in a million voice. A lot of people try to imitate it, right, and they fall flat. Right. And he brought his own rendition to this song. I would have never thought it was a Chris Stapleton song by him singing it. And that's a compliment. Mm-hmm. Because I thought it was 100% original Josh. And that's what I felt Josh did the entire competition. One of the strongest country contestants that's ever been on this show, as far as I'm concerned. Agree. So that was my number 9, Josh Sanders, White Horse, Chris Stapleton. You'll see it later. But I'll move on to my number 9. I'm excited to talk about that one, but that will come later. My number 9 is Zoe Levert, Stick Season by Noah Khan. This was I believe this was Zoe's one and only live performance. Mm-hmm. I believe that's true. Mm-hmm. No, I'm sure it's true. I mean, minus the sudden death, right? Minus the sudden death, but I did not add any sudden deaths. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry. Is that okay? That is okay. I was thinking about it because we didn't specify. I just did not. My list, live is live, right? My list might have been altered based on that. So I will yes and amen some of the selections if they are. I just did not choose those performances. Because I was not sure what we didn't really discuss that as a guideline. So I figured if you added some, then I'll just yes and amen yours rather than add them onto mine. I have a feeling the ones I added, you're going to yes and amen anyway. I'm sure they are. So that way it actually might give us a wider range of maybe lives that you left off. So it'll give us, I think that will give us the chance to talk about everything that we want to talk about within those lives, which is perfect. So I'm really glad that you did that. Back to Zoe. Oh my gosh. It was so cool to see that Zoe could deliver live as well and as sparkly as she delivered in all the pre-taped performances. I wrote that vocally she showed that she was the real deal.
Yeah.
This child has lungs of steel because this song is another one of those quick rhythmic songs that you have to know where you're breathing in order to execute it well. And vocally, it's very rangy as well within like the verses and within the chorus, within the whole song. It does not stay at one space vocally. So I was really, really intrigued and very happy to see that she could deliver live. And like I said, she just came off as sparkly and as charming live as she did in the other rounds. She is a vocal clinician. And yeah, this is a really hard song to sing live if you really are listening to the movement of the song. And it was brilliant the way that she executed, and claps to production because the leaves coming down at the end was beautiful. So
It was.
Zoe,
Great.
number 9.
I remember talking about Zoe also back then, especially like this is where we really saw the worship leader in Zoe.
Yeah.
Like towards the later rounds of Zoe.
Yeah.
Like I just was like, she is the whole package. She, again, y'all might come for me, but I just think because she gives a Taylor Swift vibe. Mm-hmm. But we all know Taylor is more known probably for her songwriting than and Taylor's more of an entertainer,
yes,
and a songwriter than she is necessarily a singer. Not saying that Taylor can't sing. It's just I feel like Zoe's vocal is next level.
Yes, absolutely.
Like she's giving us Taylor Swift vibes with the next level vocal.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so moving on to number 8. I'm going to stay in the country realm because I just loved her so much. Karen Waldrop, I Hope You Dance, Leanne Womack. I didn't write too much about this other than the fact that I get chills just thinking about this performance because this is one of my favorite, not country, songs of all time.
Yes.
I said, I've heard this song over the years. It breaks my heart every time I hear it. I said, I've heard it sung by many different artists. I said, but Karen took it and made it as if she originally released it.
Yeah.
Like it was hers.
It was hers.
Like, and Leanne's version is just, it's the standard of the song.
It's it.
But then I was like, whoa, I'm thinking like Karen Waldrop's is the standard now because it was that spectacular of a performance. I said it was fresh, it was powerful, and it was original. With such an iconic song, what she did with it was just, it was all Karen. And that's why like Karen like kind of became my dark horse in the later rounds. Because I was like, I know how this show loves country singers. Karen was so good at what she did.
Yes, she was.
Like no one else could touch her in her lane, in her genre. Like Absolutely. It was just amazing. So yeah, so that was my number 8, Karen Waldrop. I hope you dance. Love that song. Leanne Womack.
You'll see it later.
I'm sure I will because I know you. I know that's what that song does for you too. So
you'll see it later.
Yeah.
My number 8 is Tay Lewis, Amazed by Lone Star. Excuse me. Come on, key change. Change. Oh, key change at the going into the pre-chorus into the chorus is already tricky if you really listen to it. I liken it to some kind of off ramp or on ramp of sort because I don't know technically what it does, but there's a something you have to watch, like vocally, like it jumps up in a way where it's a little unexpected if you are not paying attention. And the way Tay not only navigated that in the front half of the song, but then there was a key change going into that same part at the end of the song. And I was just like ready to throw stuff because not only did the key change take it up, he executed it so flawlessly, like he did every song. I'm not even going to say pretty much. He just executed at the highest level every time there was a mic in front of his mouth. Like, Tay was not going to miss. He made this song fresh. And this is classic country. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is 90s classic country. And he just made the song fresh, even though he did not make that many vocal changes to it. I think just his presence and the energy he brought to the song just made me like it all over again. So Tay, number 8, Amazed.
I love it. I love it. Tay did not make my top 10, which is crazy because Tay was like, to my detriment, not to Tay's, but like Tay just gave such good performances.
He really did.
I thought like some of his earlier stuff was personally some of my more favorite stuff that he did. But that's just personal preference. That's the. Okay, so my number 7 is I gotta have my boy Nathan Chester in there, and this was, to me, I felt like, because Nathan, you knew he was going to come with it with the lives. You just knew it was just going to be bananas because that's the type of performer he is. But I had to pick the one that really, really just blew me away, and it was to Try a Little Tenderness by Otis Redding. I said this is one of the few times that I love what he did, because he did not, like, when you hear those horns, if you know this song, it's like one of those songs you hear for the first, you say, da, 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 da. Like, you know what song it is. Like, if you know this song, and like it's just, but the thing that Nathan actually strayed from a lot of it, especially in the front half, because this is another song that has a definitive break. Right. He strayed from the melody a lot.
Yes, he
did. He did little ornamentations, but it was all done in good taste.
Yeah.
There's a risk to take a classic song like Try a Little Tenderness, a classic soul song, and to stray from the melody.
Right.
But when you do it in good taste, it's chef's kiss.
Yes, it is.
So again, I said, Nathan is going to give you a performance. So if you know this song, you know what's going to happen in the back half of this song.
Right.
The song breaks out.
Yes.
I said, I was like, what did I love about Nathan's voice that I haven't talked about yet over the course of the season 25 podcast? I love when Nathan holds out a note, that straight tone to vibrato, because it's like you hear the gospel influence in his voice. Right. And I said he went straight gospel praise at the end of this.
Absolutely.
I said,
absolutely.
Total control of where he wanted the band to go. He was in total command. The band was like, we will follow you. And that's what I really saw in this performance. I said, I love it. Whitney Houston meme, I love it.
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I did. I loved every ounce of this performance because it was just Nathan, and it wasn't Otis Redding, even though it was an Otis Redding song. It was just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he was just insane. Insanity. Stephanie.
It takes a very special artist. That's what I found when I listened back to this particular performance, which unfortunately did not make it, although we will see Nathan later in my
I'm sure.
On my list. It takes a very special artist to be able to do an Otis Redding song, particularly Try a Little Tenderness, because nobody should be touching this song. Nobody should be touching this song. This is like hallowed ground. This is like, ground. And what Nathan did to it was bring that same energy, but a different energy. It was Nathan energy, but it was the same kind of energy you want from that song. Anybody else might be tempted to make it a caricature, might be tempted to force the energy and force what this song needs. But Nathan has the kind of swag and the kind of energy to do what needs to be done with this song, to respect everything about the song to respect Otis Redding, but also he was brilliant enough to be able to add some of those changes that you talked about in order to make it his own. It was a brilliant, brilliant performance.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It was.
My number 7.
What's your number 7?
My number 7 is Maddie Jane. I picked Greedy by Tate McRae.
Which was number 6. And I'm only saying this because we can really talk about it because they're together, right?
Absolutely.
So take it away, Stephanie, and then I will back you up on this one.
This performance was quintessential Maddie to me.
Fire!
It was everything that I think that Maddie wanted to display of herself as an artist, and she executed it brilliantly. In the wrong hands, this would have been suicide. This would have been The Voice suicide, because the artist probably would not have been able to pull off both things necessary for this song to work. One, the vocal, actually singing the vocal. Number 2, the precise execution, absolutely. The precise and the committed execution to the performance and dance and choreography. Any half-stepping of either one, this would have been live vocal, The Voice suicide.
Yeah.
But girlfriend came in like, I'm going to give you this throat, I'm going to give you this vocal, and I'm going to give you some cat, boom, cat. She gave it. And I was just like, at the end of everything I wrote respect. Because, wow, I want to see Miss Tate come out and do the same thing live. I couldn't believe, like, I couldn't hate on it. I couldn't be like, well, that was, the vocal was okay. The choreography was cool. I've seen what she was trying to do, but it just didn't come off great. I was just like, this is incredible. What you are up here doing. She don't miss,
Steph.
That's what she showed.
Don't miss.
That's what she showed. She showed I'm here about my business and I'm not gonna miss.
Right, Stephanie.
I'm not gonna miss. Like it was quintessential.
What was her name? Perfectionist?
Yes.
The Perfectionist, yeah.
And that's what it was. I
said, look. I said the first section of this song was so strong that this would have still been in my top 10, even if she bombed the second. I said it was so strong vocally. I was like, no, that's too good.
It's too
That's
good.
too good. And then she did the breakdown. Then she did the Janet Jackson, Britney Spears, boom, cat. And then I was like, it's still singing. I said, she could have bombed the second half of the performance. The first half, I was so blown away. I said, but she didn't. Okay, y'all know she slayed. Y'all know she slayed from start to finish. It was like New Rules on steroids. Like when she came out with New Rules, like when she did, it was like that on next level.
Exactly.
I said, okay, well, maybe Maddie Jane was my top 2 of the season. Like I had her on my top 3, but then like after this one, I said, okay, she's my top 2. Like I just can't get enough of her. Stephanie will tell you, I talked about her probably more than I talked about Asher.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire season, because I just couldn't get enough, because I said I'm stealing so many of her performance techniques from you, young lady. Maddie Jane, I know you're a friend of the show. We love you. But I just thought you were just so polished. And I talked about this on the regular. I've never seen anyone attack. Like maybe Nathan, a close second with the attack of the performance.
Yeah.
Maybe Asher too.
Yeah.
Like I saw someone attack a performance like you did. Every single performance, whether it was a ballad or up tempo, it was fire.
Let me tell you what was different about the way Nathan and Asher attacked, but the way Maddie attacked. This is a compliment. And I really, really, really want Maddie to take it as a compliment, because I love it.
I love it.
She had killer in her eyes every time she stepped on that stage.
That's it.
She had killer. She had fire in her.
It was that smize, that, like, it was like, exactly that look, Stephanie. That's exactly it. It was fire.
It was fire. And I love it. And I love it because I want to see more young ladies like her on this show with fire in her eyes. And the fire is not, I'm better than anybody else. The fire is not, I'm here on The Voice. I'm the ish. The fire was, I've practiced, I've worked. This is my time, and I'm going to deliver. And I loved it. There was one part of that performance quickly at the back end where she said the lyrics like, "Don't be greedy," whatever the greedy lyrics are, and like she had like this look on her face where her lip kind of curled up, and she was like, she held out a note, and I was like, ah! Like I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, Mad Jane, you're one of our favorites this season. Like you said, Stephanie, I want to see more young ladies take that attack.
Give me that killer eye, that fire. Give me that killer in your eye, please.
All right, that was my number 6. So then we're going to jump to your number 6 since we're going in sequential order these days.
Yes.
Stephanie, what you got for me?
My number 6 was Josh Sanders, White Horse, Chris Stapleton. Oh my goodness, I love this one by Josh. In particular, because this was a little bit outside of what Josh normally did. This was a little more, what's the word I want to use? Not risk, a little bit out of his comfort zone content wise, because this is like come get it kind of song. This is like he macking a little bit like, you want this one, you want a white horse? That's who I am basically. The soul and grits in his throat, I loved it. Chris Stapleton, as you said before, is a very, very, very tall order. And he did not replicate Chris Stapleton. He honored the same energy of Chris Stapleton. And this was a song where he was able to deliver that holleration in his throat and that straight.
How he came out of the back, the back, not even the back half, Stephanie. It's like the back quarter, like all the way to the end. It's like it's snappage. He snapped.
It was snappage, and I loved it. I loved every bit of it. For this song being a little bit outside of his content comfort zone, maybe you would never been able to tell because of his attack as well. He attacked this song with the same intensity and the same intention and the same excellence that he attacked every song with, and he just looked so comfortable doing it. He did not look uncomfortable singing this song, and I just absolutely loved it. And I was like, let me find out about this song because I didn't know this song. But I was like, White Horse. Yes, I love this song, and I love this performance from Josh.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
All right, you all. Well, that brings us to our final 5, our top 5 of the lives. So my number 5 was A Sudden Death, Save.
Okay.
And I'd be remiss if I did not include Mr. Brian Olsen, Viva La Vida, Coldplay. I felt Brian, it's interesting with Brian. Well, and hear me out when I say this, Pitchies and Stephanie. I felt Brian lost his way a bit through the competition, but was so strong that his lost way was still top 5 performances every week.
How do you feel like he lost his way?
Because vocally, I felt like he sang songs that were a little out of his range. Vocally. I felt like the Phil Collins was a little out of his range. I felt the Hey, now, what was that song? I felt that one was a little out of his range. Not that he couldn't sing it, but to me, he could sing it on his best vocal day. And we already know that they suffer from vocal fatigue on this show because they sing a lot.
Yes.
So that's why when I say I felt like he lost his way, I said felt like vocally the songs were not tuned to showcase his voice the best because they were a little out of his range. I said, this is where I felt like he left it all on the line in the sudden death sing-off. It was quintessential frontman Brian.
Yeah.
Brian even said, you know what, if I'm going out, he even said it in the middle of the performance. He was like, if I'm going out, I said, what an incredible voice.
Did. I forgot about that part. He sure did.
What an incredible performance. I said, because he was like, if I'm going home, I'm going home. I'm going out on the top.
That's right.
He just left it all on the stage. And I love, first of all, everyone knows this song. This is probably Coldplay's one of their biggest songs ever, if not their biggest song.
Yeah.
And I just felt like Brian reminded us where you shook your head and be like, how were you a guitarist back man, not the front man of any band you've ever been in? Because he is total 100% rocker front man. Yeah. And with any band, he would slay. And that's why I had to put this on in my top 5 because there was so much joy. Yeah. There was so much joy because he was like, you know what? I might be going home, but you know what? I'm going to sing my face off. Yes. Yes. Stephanie.
Okay. I love that. I'm going to comment about your comment about Brian before I reveal my number 5.
Okay, sure.
So I think that it is unfair, knowing what we know about this show, to put the onus on Brian in saying that he lost his way. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that we need to.
I appreciate you.
I think that knowing what we know, especially about song choice and how it is not their own sometimes on the show, I think that sometimes artists are forced to be in a place where they have to sing a song that they might not necessarily want to sing, or it might not be their first and top choice, but they have to make it work. So I did not like the song choices that you mentioned. Those were not my favorite performances of Brian. Okay. And when you choose, when those are the songs that are chosen, then you are in the space of, okay, now I have to make this work. And, you know, it might not have been a choice of Brian's based on where the notes hit and where comfortability might have been with where the key was, or, you know, if altering the key, maybe certain parts would have been too low. So trying to find that happy medium of, I got to make this song work and I got to find a key that works the best. That's always what I'm thinking about, especially, you know, as the rounds go further, how much control do they have in their song choice? And did they do their best to make it work? It still might not be my favorite performance, which is why those performances that you mentioned did not end up on my list. But I'm always kind of cognizant of, they ain't picked that. What they do have the most choice over is their the song that they have to sing if they're singing for their lives. So sure. I believe that this probably was Brian's choice. Like, this is my pick. This is where it feels good in my vote, my range to sing. It's a great song. It'll get the crowd, and it did prove to be.
It will save me.
it did prove to be a great song selection because it did save him in the end. My number 5 choice be just on the preface that I was not choosing any sudden death performances. Okay. Because if I would have chosen sudden death choices or performances, that performance by Brian would have been on my list. Okay. Because I couldn't. Would have. I had a feeling. Because I did not look at those performances to be on my list. My number 5 is Brian Olsen, Freedom 90 by George Michael. Yeah. We haven't seen much George Michael on this show. We definitely don't remember anybody singing this particular selection.
You shouldn't see George Michael on this show if you can't do George Michael.
Yeah.
Because George Michael is elite.
He is elite. Absolutely. And I love this performance. I love this as an up-tempo for Brian. I thought that he sold it vocally. I thought that he sold it performance-wise. I thought that he sold it energy-wise. He looked like he was, number one, having the time of his life performing this song. And he looked very comfortable in the performance aspect of this song because there was some choreography that he was doing. I'm not going to downplay and say that there wasn't. There was actual like little choreography that they were doing where he had to zhuzh up and then zhuzh back and then left, right, up and down. They finally had a male artist on this show working the steps, which I appreciated. And this song is rangy. So to pull this off live, I thought Brian did an excellent, excellent job. For me, this performance felt, because of the excellent execution of the vocal and performance, as one of those like The Voice classics. Like I'm going to be seeing this in the highlight reels of The Voice because it had that epic feel. Yes, because the stage was full of people and it was bright and shiny and an up tempo, but also because Brian was able to deliver it with the joyful, precise execution that he delivered for this performance. So he's my number 5.
I love it. Okay, so my number 4 may shock you because for some reason I remember I think you weren't that big of a fan of this one, but I could be completely wrong. But my number 4, I got to go to our winner, Asher Havan, for Last Dance Donna Summer.
Okay.
I said everything but the kitchen sink has to do with you in this song. I said I love Asher on an up tempo because he didn't do it too often. Yeah. Listen to how, even though this is, again, there was like common themes of my selections of a song starts off as a ballad, but then ends tempo, like because I selected a lot of those this time. Yeah. I said, listen to how delicate he was on the front half of that song. Like, all the Asher stuff. Yeah. When he said, especially like, I need you by me, beside me, to guide me. No. Like just crazy stuff he was doing. I said, but when the tempo kicks in, when the disco beat kicks in this song, I said, Asher does not let go. Like, he does not let you go. He's always in control. I said, it's the nuance singing for me with Asher. Asher was king of the nuances. Maddie Jane gave us a lot of nuances too. And Asher it was just every little thing he did was so intentional. Yeah. I said, because a lot of people don't know this song is crazy difficult. This is a very difficult song to sing because, again, 2 different songs. Yeah. And I love, because this was the first time I think Asher got like, he let the gospel come out, because you know how he said he grew up in the church, he didn't start singing secular music until he was much older. Like he gave us that gospel growl at the end that I didn't know. You had never heard it up until this point. You just had heard perfection singing up until this point. But he gave us a little at the end. I said it was the cherry on the top of the sundae. I said, that's what I'm talking about. Because it was like you got to see a little bit of Asher, like, letting his hair down, even though Asher always let his hair down. A little bit more of that. And that's why, because I thought it was fun. I thought it was Asher being fun. Yeah. And because he had just done so many serious power ballads previously. So I had to put this on there because I just loved it. I loved it because it was just a break from how he normally would perform and sing. Right. I love that you picked this song. I remember saying of it on the original, not necessarily that I didn't like it. That wasn't it at all. You knew he didn't pick it. Isn't that what you said? Something like that? I don't remember. I might have. I don't remember. What I remember though is that I didn't put enough respect on this song that I should have, because it just kind of felt like, oh, I need you
But I didn't think that the song was good enough for Asher.
Right.
That's what it was.
That's what you said.
That's what it was. And then I listened to what he did to it, and I was like, oh, shoot. And then I really started thinking about the song. I'm like, this is a really hard song to sing, just like you just said. And I didn't really, because it's just like a disco dance song. And I just did not put enough respect on Miss Donna Summer's vocal and what she was able to do on that particular song. So I love that you picked that for him, because we hadn't heard him do many up tempos, and he executed this great. And I love that he was just standing up on that platform like a king, doing his little two-step and letting everybody rollerblade around him. He wasn't trying to do all that. He didn't need to do all that. Nope. So I loved that performance from Asher. Absolutely. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yes. So my number 4 was Karen Waldrop. I Hope You Dance, Leanne Rhymes. No, Leanne Womack. Watching this back as I was making this list, I cried.
Yeah.
Because I just felt everything that I felt like she was trying to pour into that performance. I felt her emotion. And there was just something extra that tapped into that for me. And I don't know why, but her playing the guitar and singing this tapped a little bit more of the emotion into it, because I feel like watching somebody play an instrument, and it's an extension of their performance, and just watching the way she was strumming at different points just kind of solidified and even crystallized even more the emotion that she was trying to provoke from her performance. And maybe provoke is the wrong word, that she was just trying to relay in that performance.
Right.
And
sure.
There was something also about her, and she wasn't the only one that was on stage solo during these live performances. A lot more of the performances had somebody, either some other instrumentalist or the BGVs, very present on the stage. For this particular performance of Karen's, she was basically alone. We didn't see very many other people. So that lent itself to the intimacy and the emotion of the song as well. And then let's just be real. This song, OMG. Like if you listen to the words of this song, just the intention behind it. And I don't know if it's a mother, a mother speaking to their child, a one person speaking to another. I hope this is what you choose to do in your life. Like, no matter what else is going on, dance. And oh my goodness, it gives me chills. And it's so interesting. I'll tell you a very quick story. I went to the Justin Timberlake concert that was in Baltimore on July 3rd. And before the actual concert began, the show opener was a DJ. And the DJ was playing all the good 90s and 2000s songs. There was a lady who was at the railing, and she was just dancing all by herself. 60-some-year-old lady. She was just dancing to everything. Everything. And we were just like, get it, get it, get it. And at one point I got up and I went to use the restroom, came back, and I walked up to her and I was like, you better dance your dance. And she said to me, I'm 64 years old and I beat cancer 4 times. Hey! I said, then you better dance. Then you better dance. I was like, the freedom that she showed in and of itself was like, that was beautiful to me. And I was like, I'm going to be you in about 20 years. I'm just not going to care. I'm just going to be up here dancing, whatever. But her testimony was like, you better dance because life is but a vapor. So anyway, Karen just gave that pro performance and it was just beautiful. And I hope we all dance.
Well, let me tell you, I'm going to stay right there on number 3 with Karen Waldrop. I got another Karen Waldrop offer.
Good.
With What Hurts the Most, Rascal Flatts. Stephanie. I said, Karen gives you, I said, I need to talk about something about Karen that I didn't talk about her before. I said, Karen's secret weapon is I've never seen anyone give you class and grit. I said, which she shows are not mutually exclusive.
Come on. Yeah.
You know, like class grit. Is that an oxymoron, right?
No.
I said, she is so classy.
Yes.
But the voice is just, Karen was our storyteller.
Yes.
Of the season.
I love that.
I said, she's a superstar. I said, you can't take your eyes off of her, and what a voice. If you can't take your eyes off of somebody, and what a voice, it's a perfect combination.
Yes.
I said, this is what happens when an old pro, because you had just mentioned this, she was our pro.
Yes.
When an old pro comes on The Voice and does the damn thing. Excuse my French.
Yes.
But I'm sorry, that's what happens.
Yes.
No one this season told a story like Karen. I said, I felt the pain in this song.
Come on, what hurts the most?
I felt the pain. Like at one time she put her head back and was singing and just like, I saw the pain.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right.
She was painfully, but it was so incredible to watch and to hear, and that the performance was as strong as the vocal. And it's like they were battling for what was best. Performance, vocal. And that to me makes a superstar.
Absolutely.
So I had to put Karen back on that list because I was like, Karen. I forgot about this one. And when I was going through and I listened again, I said, oh my gosh.
That's a good one.
Classy grit.
Classy grit.
You're classic.
Hey.
So yeah, she's my number 3. What hurts the most. So Karen was a multiple artist on my list person, along with Maddie Jane as well.
Awesome. My number 3 is Mr. Asher Havan. I picked I'll Make Love to You by Boyz II Men. It was all about the vocal and the approach. So I know that this was not probably. He said in the B-roll, this was an interesting pick for him because it's a very vulnerable song, and it's a very vulnerable song to sing. And let's not mention that Boyz II Men was 4 people at the time, and Asher Havan is 1, even though he's got about 13 people up in his throat, as we have mentioned before. I love his approach to the song because he truly took the lead and let the BGVs be the BGVs where they needed to be. The way he commanded not only the stage, but the intention behind the vocals, the way he delivered those vocals, like there was no hesitancy. It was like, this is what I'm singing about. And I was like, you better come on. Like, if you're going to bring this offering, as James likes to call them offering, if you're going to bring this offering, I want to feel this offering. And he sold this song. He sold the song. He sang it like a solo artist, which is what he needed to do because he's a solo artist. And he leaned on those BGVs to do their thing, and they did their thing. He communicated the song really, really well. And the back end, come on, like he was preaching I'll Make Love to You, which was like, come on with that. Hey, listen. So that's the energy that he brought to it, and I loved it. I loved it because when you're singing a song that's called I'll Make Love to You, let's just do it. Like let's just not do it. But like let's do the song. You can't be, it's gonna come off like real talk, like let's just do it. Real talk, it's gonna come off mad awkward. Hey, listen, it's gonna come off mad awkward. Yeah. If you are not giving the song the energy that it deserves, right? Mm-hmm. So it was not mad awkward, it was mad good. It was mad good. Yeah.
All right. So I had a 3-person make my list. This was another sudden death, in which I thought was her best performance. Maddie Jane, I gotta bring her back again. I'll Never Love Again, Lady Gaga. My Lord. Maddie said, okay, I'm probably not gonna make it past this round.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you the best.
The best.
Of me. I'm going to give you the best of me. I said, listen to how. Do you remember this one, Stephanie? You remember what she did?
Yes, I do. I 1,000% do.
How she floated chest, head, mix, chest, head, mix, chest, head, mix. It was just like, like, it wasn't like.
It wasn't disjointed.
Yes. It was just constant.
Water.
It was like water through the whole thing. I said, master class of register singing.
Come on.
Which is Stephanie will tell you, as a female vocalist, it's some of the hardest things to do.
Absolutely.
To sing in your different registers and to do it fluidly.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. I'd have been okay. I wrote this down. I said I'd have been okay if Asher and Maddie went 1 and 2. I'd have been okay. They were my 1 and 2. Oh, yeah. I'd have been okay. Oh, yeah. I said she is special. She is a star. I said that was a sudden death offering, you all, and she had the nerve to sing the song from that movie.
The Star is Born.
I said it was absolutely bananas. Mm-hmm. It was bananas, y'all. And that's when it's like she knew all the odds were stacked against her, but gave us probably the most powerful, strongest performance of a perfect season. Maddie had a perfect season on this show.
Mm-hmm. No, but
if
she
Ashley was not there, Maddie, in my opinion, would have won it. She would have won it. I mean, she was for me.
But think about how she had a perfect show or a perfect season on this show. That's what makes it astonishing.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't just up there giving vocal. She gave us complete pop. Everything that we want to see from a pop artist.
What I tell you, Stephanie, about Maddie, what I say repeatedly over and over again, if she would have what?
If she would have been 20 years older and had come out 20 years prior in those 90s, 2000s era of the pop princesses, she would have been the biggest of them all. And that is completely...
And I'm glad because that is mine and Stephanie's that is specifically our music, you all. We are that age. We came of age with Britney and Christina.
If you wanna be with me, listen. Baby. I remember singing that in high school. Come on, that is
imagine if she would have offered any of those songs this season. I'd have been
I would have lost.
If she would have my mind, or Slave or something crazy, if she would have offered that,
if she would have came and did some, I'm a slave.
It'd have been crazy because she'd have matified it. Okay, I just made up a word, Maddie. She'd have matified it. It'd have been crazy.
Get it.
You were a good girl, Maddie.
Hey.
Christian girl, so I don't know if you would have done Slave on the show. I don't know.
Get it.
So they make you wouldn't have let
get it.
But yeah, Maddie was. She's been one of my favorite contestants of ever since we started doing this because I just love the versatility in her and just that she gave you ballads, she gave you pop, she gave you runs, she gave you everything. So that was my number 2. Was another sudden death. So as Maddie made my list 3 times.
Yes,
I'm sorry. Did. But I just loved every one of her performances. Stephanie?
Get it. Okay, my number 2. Listen, hey! Don't get me started with Slave. Don't you wanna?
That's our music, y'all. That's our music.
Get it. Shout out to the Neptunes. Shout out to the Neptunes. Ooh, oh. Okay, stop. All right. My number 2. My number 2 is Nathan Chester, Higher and Higher by Jackie Wilson.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, this was a show closer.
Yeah, it was.
On the top 8, whatever the second to last live show was, top 9, whatever it was. This was the show ender and a show closer, I should say. And boy, did it deliver. The grandeur of everything. You had lights, camera, action. You had horns. You had bright outfits. You had staging. I feel like a lot of the budget for the live show went to Nathan. He had some big productions. Yes, and he delivered. It was just the grandness of it all. And the minute the music came in, I was like, well, here you go. Here we go. Come on, The Voice live performance. And he did not disappoint. He gave us vocal, theatrics, staging, choreography, all of it. Everything that we wanted from this performance and what's necessary for this song. I loved number one, that all the coaches were upstanding and dancing.
Yeah, they were.
Like, there's a shot of Reba, and Reba's like, yeah, like she's doing her little two-step. Every single coach was up. And there was a breakdown at the end of the performance, like a musical break where it was just like very drum heavy, and it was Nathan and BGV's. And it just felt like, yes, like this is the moment we want at the end of a show with everybody in the audience clapping and singing, because if you don't know the whole song, you know Higher and Higher, you know the chorus, you know? Sure. And it felt so triumphant. It just felt like one of those everybody's together moments. And the very, very end where he did the higher, high, like it just went higher and higher. And it was just like, I can't take anymore. Like, this is just excellence on excellence on excellence on excellence. And, it just gave you everything you wanted from a performance like that.
I love it.
It was incredible. Nathan.
It was, but when was Nathan not incredible?
Well, and that's it. He delivered on these songs that you knew he would deliver on, but you don't see these songs because not many people can deliver on these kind of songs. Correct. So I was really, really glad that we had an artist like Nathan to give some shine to these songs that we hardly ever see, because nobody can tackle them the way Nathan did.
And I saw zero corny, stereotypical, what people think of as cruise ship people, right? They think of that as corny.
Listen, I'm saving my coins now, Nathan. I want to go on a cruise. I want to see you on a cruise. Absolutely.
All right. So my number one was your number three. I had to.
Oh my word!
Pick Asher for "I'll Make Love to You." It was between that and another Asher selection, which may be your number one, so I'm not going to say it. But I had to pick "I'll Make Love to You" because this is number one. It's my favorite Boyz II Men song of all time. So, I mean, Babyface written, Babyface penned. I mean, Babyface and Boyz II Men, you don't get more 90s R&B better than that. As a look to Stephanie's point earlier, and I was going to piggyback on Stephanie, but I didn't want to give it away. To Stephanie's point earlier, this is a song sung by a quartet, okay? I said, the reason why what made Asher so special is Asher could manipulate his voice to do anything he wanted it to do. So when you have close your eyes, make a wish, and then you have verse 2, all the while, fire. Like it was too. I can't do that. It was like one Asher voice, two Asher voice, three Asher voice, until we get to 13 different voices that Asher can do, and all still sounding like Asher, which made it even more insane of a vocal. I said, listen to what he did. To me, the snapping point of this song, the snappage that happened, was that bridge. Listen how he opened up his throat, full-throated singing. Tonight, like, but he didn't do that. He didn't do the Wanye, right?
No, right.
He did the Wanye. He did the Asher. Yeah. Because Asher's a baritone, right? Yes. He with a crazy upper extent. I said, but just listen to what he did on the back. Like, he just opens his throat up to the bridge back into the chorus. Because that is, Stephanie will tell you, that's one of the hardest bridges back in the choruses in the book.
Yes.
Yes. Your life. And then Wanye goes, No. Asher didn't do that. Asher just did Asher, and it was crazy.
Yes.
And then I said, and then he had the nerve towards the end of that song. He gave you that Whitney. That Whitney straight tone to vibrato thing that only Whitney could do. He gave you that at the end. I said, what can't he do?
Didn't he dip it down though? Didn't he do
Luther, shut up! Just shut up!
He gave us a Whitney Luther a Luther Whitney ending to "I'll Make Love to You."
I think the two of them have only sung twice. You've seen that clip.
Yes, yes.
Luther Whitney.
Yes.
Well, that's what friends are for, I think.
Yes.
Now look it up on the internet, y'all. And it wasn't even, it was like the end of the song, and they were just, it was like just dueling.
Yes.
Like it was just, like, Stephanie, it was just crazy what they were doing.
Yes.
And that's what Asher did by himself.
Mm-hmm. That's what he did by himself. Absolutely. That's what he did by himself. You are absolutely right.
Y'all, I'm a vocal pedagogue. I know a thing or two about the voice. I'm still in amazement.
Yeah, that's what he did by himself.
He did the Luther Whitney by himself? What? On a Boyz II Men song?
On a Boyz II Men song. Truly.
I don't have any words.
Truly.
I don't have any words. That was my number one. Had to end with "I'll Make Love to You." Asher, you had the nerve to sing my favorite Boyz II Men song, and then you sang it down the way you did. It was just insanity.
Absolutely.
Stephanie.
Okay. So my number one is from the same artist, Mr. Asher Havan. I picked "I Will Always Love You." And it almost seems like
so back and forth. I was so back and forth.
Like,
I knew you were going to pick one of those two. So that's why I was like, I don't want to pick the same one.
But like, it felt like a gimme to me. Like before I even made my list, I was like, well, number one, I'll always love you, and let me build out the rest of my list. I'll give you not facts, but this is why it should be my number one, right? So the song, Whitney's biggest hit ever.
Yeah.
Whitney, can I just say, let's start there. This is Dolly Parton's song, but this is
penned by Dolly Parton.
Yes, penned
we
by
were
Dolly.
The flowers on this song.
Absolutely, penned by Dolly. Made epically famous by Whitney when she did this on The Bodyguard for the Bodyguard soundtrack. I mean, you say Whitney and it's like over. And then you say, "I Will Always Love You." And it's like that one, that one.
The one you don't ever attempt?
The one nobody should. Some have tried. They have failed. We've only seen, I only can remember seeing Asher and maybe one other person do all right on this song. But on top of all that, and justly so, this was the show closer as well. This was the show closer for the final episode of live performances.
It was.
I shudder at the pressure of that. I shudder at the pressure of singing this epic song in that epic moment to basically make or break whether you're going to win. Because this song is a make it or break it, right? If you execute this really well, you better win. Because you better win, right? Nobody else, I don't care what anybody else does. Nobody else is coming to the table with a performance in a song like this. So it's the hugest. This is push all your coins in risk, right?
Yeah.
At the moment of being the show closer for the last live performance, top five finale, last performance, make it or break it. He made it. And he was paid for it by being our winner, as he should have been. What else? There's not really much else to say other than that, because we talked a lot about it at the time.
Right.
Huge risk, huge reward. And if we weren't epic enough, you get the with the thing coming off. The snatching of the curtain and seeing
silk curtain, satin, excuse me, whatever it was.
It was one of the most epic things I've ever witnessed on this show.
Yeah.
And to see it executed the way that it was, and to see the grandeur of it all. We've likened Asher to a king all season. Yeah. And it felt like the royal moment that he deserved. And to watch him execute it the way that he did,
Bravo.
All the chef's kisses. Bravo. And congratulations. You deserve to be the winner after that performance.
Yeah.
Number one.
Asher. As deservingly so, because Asher took it all, and we were so excited he did. Asher, we love you.
Yes.
We're so proud of you.
Yes.
You worked your tush off. You really did to just give perfect performance after perfect performance after not of this world performance.
That's right. Absolutely.
All right, Stephanie. Well, that's it. We did it. We did it. We did it without honorable mentions, and I am happy with both of our lists.
Yes.
I think that this was, again, I know we sound kind of redundant and like a broken record. I don't know what I thought about this season at first. I was like, well, season 24 is going to be impossible to beat, but then we thought that about season 23 and 22.
Right.
They've been topping.
Yes.
They've been topping.
Yes.
And we hope that they continue to move in that fashion.
Absolutely.
As long as they do, the Pitchy Podcast will be here for it. We will. Because the second, I think Stephanie and I lose interest, like we are truly passionate. Like you said, we are truly passionate about this.
Yes.
So the second, it falls flat, Stephanie and I are going to have some difficult conversations.
Yes, we are. We're going to have a board meeting.
Lord knows that we don't have the time, but we make the time because it's so special to us. So thank you all the entire production team, NBC. We thank you, all the wonderful, wonderful coaches, Dan and Shay, Reba, Chance, and John. From this past season. It was truly, truly, truly special for us. So thank you so much. Stephanie, you have anything else to say before we tell them what they need to hear?
Nope, just stay tuned. We don't know what's coming, but something else is coming this summer. We don't know. Stay tuned.
Long dog days of summer.
Yes.
So we're going to put our heads together and come up with some more content for you all.
Yes.
Thank you for always supporting us, Pitchies, and we love you.
Yes.
So Stephanie, tell them what they need to hear.
All right, so don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Pitchy Podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. Also, check us out on YouTube. Search for the Pitchy Podcast and hit that subscribe button so you know when we drop a new video. And last, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at the Pitchy Podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more.
All right. Well, stay tuned. Some new content coming down the pike, but season 25, we bid you adieu.
Bye-bye.